Hello everyone, it's Amira. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am so happy you're here. To be so honest with you all, this is not the type of video I was planning on making. This video that you are about to watch is a speed build of me building the entrance to our new Springcore Gardencore island, BASIL, and I had all of the commentary filmed for it. It was in real time. It was going to be my regular slow build, hang out with me sort of thing, and up until pretty much the very end of the video, I looked down and I realized my microphone was literally not even plugged in. The USB was right there, not in my computer, and that was incredibly frustrating, as you can imagine. But I figured I could just speed up the footage, I could do a little bit of a speed build, and we could have a chatty little build together. We could have a chatty little moment, catch up. There's lots to talk about here, and honestly, this build goes in so many different directions before we sort of land on what we want. So I think this is the perfect kind of build to do a speed build with. Going forward on Wednesdays, they're not usually speed builds, okay? Normally, they're just real-time slow builds with cozy music, but you know, we work with what we have, and today we have a speed build. So we are building the entrance to my island, BASIL, and I was so jazzed to build on this island, you guys. Oh my God, I was so jazzed. I was so excited. I could not wait to start building on BASIL. Like I said, this is a Springcore, Gardencore, and hopefully, fingers crossed, simplistic island, okay? So my vision for the entrance of BASIL was to have sort of a blocked off, like you walk straight off the airplane into an overgrown flower field, and then you walk through some garden gates, and then the road starts, and that's where you kind of start your adventure onto this island. So you saw I had some picket fencing along the sides because I wanted to block it off somehow, but I didn't really like the way that looked, especially since I decided to go with the brown garden gates rather than the white ones. The white picket fencing just like didn't really make sense to me. Now, I guess I could go and get those customized and have them be brown. Can you do that with the picket fencing, with the vertical board fencing? I feel like I could do that. I could have them be like natural wood fencing if I wanted it to be. I do really like the way that this build ends up, so we will see. Anyways, my sort of plan was to have these little planks wind around and have flowers and weeds interspersed here and there. I thought about maybe doing some garden plots, and that was kind of it. The whole Springcore thing is still very new to me. Using all of these colors is very new to me. I've never done like a colorful thing like this before as far as islands. All of my islands have been very white flowers. In Westport, the last island that I just finished, we used blue, and that was the only pop of color that I used was blue as far as flowers go. So the fact that I'm using all of these like pastel-y flowers is kind of new for me, and we're working with it. I really like the way that this build turned out. While I was building, I was explaining how I always start with the entrance. When I build an island, I always start with the entrance because I feel like it really sets the tone for the rest of the island. It's the first thing you see when you get off the airport. I just feel like it's easy. It's an easy way for me to sort of set the vibe. And I am curious to know, what is your first thing that you start with? Is it the entrance, or do you start with resident services? Do you start with your home? Do you start with the neighborhood? Do you start with the shops? Do you pick like your least favorite thing and do that first? Maybe you do all of the terraforming and waterscaping first, and then you go and decorate after that. I have always been so in awe of people who go and terraform their whole island first and then decorate around that. I feel like, honestly, if I were to do it like the quote unquote right way, that would make the most amount of sense, right? Like set the landscape and then fill in where you need to, instead of sort of building the landscape around your decorations. It kind of seems backwards doing it this way. But I've never done that, and I feel like that's just scary to me because I never know what I want the landscape of my island to be like. And my goal for BASIL is to be a completely flat island, so there's no terraforming involved at all. I will be putting some ponds, I think, here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be flat, so no terraforming there. But yeah, let me know what like the first thing you do when you build an island. Mine is always the entrance. So here we are. As you can see, I've laid down those little planks that kind of wind around. I started with this little garden plot on the side that does get deleted, but then comes back later in sort of a different format. I have the little garden gates leading back there, and then eventually I put a little road sort of going like horizontally because I wanted you to go through these garden gates and then the road be right there. I add in some more trees. I end up putting a stunted tree in there, some bushes. I am using the yellow tea olive, is that what they're called? the yellow tea olive bushes. They won't be in bloom, they'll just be green, which is what I wanted. I just felt like the color of the actual greenery matched the springtime sort of green of the grass and the trees. This island is in April right now, and I think that's kind of where it's going to stay. I really like the color scheme of everything in April in this game. And then you can see I put these little rain boots on this little puddle code that I found. I think it's so sweet. I'm obsessed with it. By the way, if you see any codes that you like while I'm building, I will have my Pinterest board link down below, and you can find all of the custom codes that I use for this island there. If for whatever reason I forgot to pin something, or you can't find a specific code you're looking for, just leave a comment down below and I will be sure to go and find that and get that for you, because I feel like all these codes are so sweet, and of course you would want them because they are so cute. Then I put down this little plank right in front of the garden gate, and I think that looks really cute. I think I end up going back and putting in another one a little bit later in the build. I toy around with the idea of using this log bench as well as the hay bench, not the hay bench, the hay bed. Everything sort of is trial and error. It is so trial and error, this build, because I didn't really know what I wanted. I knew this was supposed to be the entrance to a Gardencore island, but I didn't really know what that is supposed to look like. You know what I mean? I ended up putting that wooden box there with the wooden bucket on top, and I really, really liked the way that looked. This whole section is, I feel, kind of random. There's just random items sprinkled about, and I don't really know if it's going to stay that way, to be honest with you. I feel like when I finished this build, I left it in a place where I really, really liked it, but I wasn't sure if that's how it was going to stay. I left it kind of open in my head for if, as I'm continuing to fill out this island, I decide I want to come back and revisit it, I can. I tend to do that a lot. I am not someone who finishes a build and then walks away and just well, that's the end. I'm never going to touch that again. I have such a hard time putting stuff like that away. I will probably come back and revisit after a little bit if while I'm building out this island, I realize, oh, this entrance does not match the rest of the vibe at all. Anyways, then I put down that wooden storage shed there, and although I felt like it was kind of random and a little bulky, I thought it looked really, really cute. I liked the space that it took up. I liked that it added some height. I just liked that whole thing. I do kind of think, and I remember thinking this as I was building it too, it would have made more sense to put it up against a storefront or a tree or something like that, not just in the middle of a random field. But I still think that it turned out so sweet. Okay, now you're seeing me toy with the idea of using the pink hyacinths, and those stay for pretty much the entire build, and I end up getting rid of them at the very end. I'm still debating whether or not I want to use the pink hyacinths on this island. You guys gave me so much good feedback about what your thoughts were, and clearly I am still so indecisive. I truly, truly, truly don't know if I want to use them or not. My dilemma is I want this island to feel very simple, and although the pink I feel like adds such a springy sort of pop of color, I feel like it takes away from the simplicity of the orange and green and yellow and white. I don't know if that's making any sense. I just feel like the minute you put that pink in there, it feels more cluttered. I don't know, more in your face, not necessarily in a bad way, but it doesn't feel like the simple spring Gardencore island that I was kind of envisioning in my head. So I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are now that you're seeing it sort of in action with the rest of these items, now that I'm sort of filling this out. But I feel like I'm leaning towards no, just for that purpose or that explanation of it just didn't feel as clean and simple. I do sort of clutter it up, and then towards the end get rid of a few things. I think I get rid of a couple flowers and try to sort of simplify it down. Turns out building in this really simplistic style with open areas is super hard for me, and I kind of figured that it would be. I'm such just a clutter. I love clutter. I love it so, so, so much. I think it's so cute. I love filling out spaces with random little collections of items and layering and all of that, and my goal is to have a bunch of open space and have it be super, super breathable. So that's what I'm trying to do. It was really hard for me to just kind of step away and decide, okay, I think this area is done. And I did it, and I still don't think it's as simple as I was aiming, but it is a step in the right direction. I was also toying with the idea of putting a home in the entrance on the left side like kind of towards where the bike is. Again, something I still haven't really decided on. I love when people put homes right away in the entrance. I could also put them like behind the road too. I could have a couple homes that way. I'm not going to do a whole actual neighborhood here. I'm just going to have like little pockets of homes here and there, pockets of neighbors, random little homes plopped throughout the island. I really, really like that take on neighborhoods. I always think that's super sweet. And I don't know. I think this build turns out so sweet. The whole time I was like, this is so springy. It's so cute. It makes my heart so happy. It made me feel like a little kid in the best way. I think I've mentioned this a few times, but I am a preschool teacher at the moment, and this whole island, this whole build just like made me feel like a preschooler, and I don't really know why. Maybe it was the colors and just how like whimsical everything is. I use that little code that you see on the ground, like the little envelopes and like seed packets. That's so cute. Again, the little puddle with the rain boots, I just think is the sweetest, most whimsical thing. I'm planning on using a lot of that sort of thing throughout this island. I didn't use the planks with the teddy bear on them, but I will be using those at some point, and that's incredibly whimsical and like, you know, like little kiddish to me. Just this whole theme makes me giddy. I don't know how to explain it. The color palette, the theme with all the flowers and the garden, it just makes me giddy inside. Okay, I feel as though I've talked about the build for a while now. Now we really need to get down to brass tacks and talk about the fact that the day that this build is posted, the Switch 2 Direct has also been posted. So this is past Amira speaking, and obviously at this point, the Direct has not been out yet. So at this point, I only have my thoughts and my hopes and my dreams and my predictions. And I was trying so hard to not get my hopes up for an Animal Crossing announcement, but like the closer we get, you guys, like it's, at this point, it's tomorrow morning. And I'm so hopeful. Just something, anything, please. I've been seeing more and more like pretty big Nintendo creators online saying that they are predicting at least an announcement or something and a game within the first year. And just the more I hear that, the more it's like settling into my heart that I want this so bad. I'm just so excited for it. I can feel the butterflies in my stomach. I'm kind of frustrated because the Direct comes out for me at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and I will be at work with the preschoolers, so I won't be able to watch it in real time, which is really unfortunate. I also haven't decided if I'm gonna like completely keep it spoiler free and then watch the Direct and like completely stay offline and then watch the Direct after work when I get home, or if I will let all of you spoil it for me in the Discord or just online on Instagram, on YouTube, on all of that. I don't think I'm gonna be able to help myself. I'm gonna have to know what was announced and what they said, and I'll probably watch it on my lunch break, honestly. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. So in the comments, since you've probably already watched it or you are going to watch it at some point, let me know. Did we get an Animal Crossing release, or were we being clowns? Was I being a clown? Maybe you weren't being a clown, but I definitely was. I am a clown. I think I'm clowning and I'm Delulu, and I want an Animal Crossing announcement more than I want oxygen, I think. Okay, now that I'm done being dramatic, you can see that the garden plots did come back, but I did them in more of this like horizontal line random sort of thing. I put that storefront back there, and I really, really liked that. I felt like that really added some good layering, some height, some dimension that this build needed to sort of make it feel, I don't know, filled out and finished. Then I put this bunny over by the carrots and this little scarecrow. I went back and forth with the idea of using a shovel, and I don't think I ended up using one in the end, but I might change my mind and come back later. It's so funny for me going back and doing a voiceover on builds like this, because I think this is like the second time ever that I've done a speed build as far as like an island build goes, and I never really realized how indecisive I am and how much I deliberate over the smallest detail until I'm editing, and I'm like, wow, I really went back and forth on like moving the garden gate a tile back and forth for like 5 minutes in real time, and I could not make up my mind. And it's so funny to me watching these back and doing these voiceovers and being like, wow, girl, you have such a hard time making decisions, don't you? And I do. It's true. I do have a very hard time making decisions. I also think speed builds are nice because you can see all that though. And I think a lot of the time when we watch videos of people building online, it can really feel like the first thing somebody puts down works out every single time. And my goal with all of my videos is to include as much of my thought process as possible, but inevitably things do end up getting cut out. And I do appreciate speed builds for their ability to showcase literally every single one of my decisions and my deliberations and my like little internal crises that I have while I build. Because I think it's important to recognize that no, when people are building, it is not the first thing that they put down works out every single time, even though it feels like that a lot of the time. We are getting pretty close to the end of the speed build portion of this video. I will go and do a whole final look around in real time with my microphone plugged in, but this is about where the build sort of ends. I do go in and add a little clothesline right in front of the storefront, which I feel like really ties, honestly, the whole thing together. I felt like that clothesline in this build was like make or break. Sometimes one item will really do that for you. Please, again, let me know what your thoughts are on the pink hyacinths. I couldn't make a decision, and you will see that like they don't make a reappearance. I do decide to get rid of them completely, but if you feel like, now watching this back, I thought they kind of looked cute, I don't know, send help, please, because clearly I can't make a decision to save my life if that wasn't already evidence enough, if this video wasn't evidence enough. Alrighty, you guys, that is pretty much the end of this speed build, and I will catch you in real time for our final look around. Alrighty, everybody, here is our finished Gardencore simple spring core entrance. It did end up kind of filling out a lot more than I kind of originally hoped. Honestly, I wasn't really planning on doing a little garden plot at the beginning. I really wanted it to just be kind of stepping right into a meadow, but I think this turned out so sweet. Oh my god, Hippo is such a jump scare. I'm so angry that he's on this island. I had to push him literally out the garden gate like this. I had to push him out because he kept wanting to work out right here, and he does not fit the vibe. So please, I hope he doesn't come back. Anyways, here is our little entrance. I think it is so sweet. Oh my god, there he is. He won't leave me alone. This is not the place to work out, Hippo. This island is not for you. I'm so frustrated. Anyways, here is the whole thing. I think it is so cute. This little seed/envelope packet that was dropped, the little garden plots. I love the little boots and the puddle and the little bunnies. I do think I prefer it without the pink hyacinth. So I do think those will have to be a no. I think it's just so much cleaner without them. And just getting rid of those two flowers honestly made such a difference. There is a lot of in-game grass, and I'm gonna continue that forward with this theme. It is so hard to keep things simple and like kind of on the minimal side for me. I want to clutter it up so bad, but I think it turned out so sweet. I love the little garden gate. I love the little planks. I love that you can see the road kind of going back and forth here. I think it is so sweet. I am so sorry that this ended up turning into a speed build rather than just kind of like a hang out and build with me sort of thing. This happens like so often with me where I think that my microphone is plugged in and it's not. So I apologize once again for that. I did stunt the tree and time travel for that, and I think that looks so nice. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so pretty. I think it's so cute. I'm so excited to continue with this island. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we can kind of start saying goodbye. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. It really would mean the world to me. I post new videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Wednesdays are build videos on my own island like the one that you just watched. Fridays are Happy Home Paradise speed builds, and Sundays are island tours. I would like to also, oh my god, Hippo. Why? Why me? Why do bad things happen to good people? Oh my god, okay. I would like to also thank all the members on my channel. Thank you so much for your support and your kind words and your endless love. I am so eternally grateful for each and every single one of you. Thank you for being here. I love you all so much. Other than that, that is all Hippo and I have for you today. I'm like embarrassed for him. oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that he is here. I'm just not the way I planned on ending this video. I hope you are all having the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Goodbye.